Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with Darth Mod. We're playing as Poland, Lithuania, and last time we took over this region right here, and then we also took this region down in the south. So there's not much left. There are 4 provinces of the Russians, and then there are 4 provinces of the Austrians. However, the Austrians are more or less done at this point. They're not going to be able to save themselves. The only thing they have is the force over here, but they're very unlikely to be able to resupply that. They're no longer bankrupt, so they have managed to, I guess, swing their finances around. But I doubt they have any money, or even so, be able to put up any kind of resistance against us. Some people have asked for me to sue for peace with them, which I don't really know why. That would be a thing, but I guess it would be I guess we could force them to become a vassal or something, once they only have 1 province left. But more likely we're just gonna run them over. It's too late really for mercy. With that said, today what we're going to do is we've got 2 battles ahead of us. This army that was sieging Kiev has moved up to sort of crush this force, and then possibly we've got this fight over here. And once that's done, we can end turn and we can continue towards destroying the rest of the Russian and Austrian Empire. We'll start with what I think is the biggest fight, which is this one. Or maybe we should do it the other way around. Start with a smaller fight. Yes, we'll start with a smaller fight in the north. So, without further ado, let's strike the enemy. So I don't think they will get the bridge, and I don't think the river will turn up on the map. They have those bird nest elite infantry, quite a bit of gun, quite a bit of cavalry, but we surely... they actually have more guns than us, so they'll stay defensive in the beginning, which is good. One of the new units that has been recruited for this army is that I've got some Kalmuks missile infantry. So they fire bow and arrow from horseback. And then I also have some mounted grenadiers. But with that said, let's draw straight into battle. I've decided to deploy the army in one long line. So we got the Fusiliers behind cover, through a long line covering the entire bit. And then on either side behind them, we've got 1 brigade of grenadiers. On this side we've got the normal grenadiers that can actually throw grenades. And then we've got the grenadier guards on this side that are, well, the elite unit. Then we've got light infantry behind the cannons, and also the blunderbuss guys. We got the general back here. Over on this side we've got the new unit, the Regiment of Dragoon Horse Grenadier Guards, and they do actually fire from horseback, and so does the units of the Kalmuks, which is a massive cavalry unit because it comprises of 200 horses. Cannons quite broken up actually, so we not only we not match them in the amount of batteries, I'm pretty sure they have more cannons in their actual crews, since we only have 1 at full strength. With that said, I do think it won't go that well for the enemy. I'm gonna use the Kalmuks kind of as a suicide unit, and we're gonna send that in. The enemy artillery gives us a bit of an advantage by moving into the range of fire, giving us the opportunity to break them down. One thing I should do is probably tell my round shot cannons, of which I have one, which is currently firing shrapnel shot. Actually, if it's gonna fire at cavalry, I'd rather it fire at cavalry. Ooh. Good shots there, firing into the Russian cavalry. Okay, so the Russian cavalry is charging towards my Kalmucks, and we're gonna have kind of a suicide charge by the Kalmucks just to take out the enemy's artillery, and in that way force the enemy to charge us. And I'm gonna go ahead and deploy the cavalry on either side. The cuirassiers are gonna move up, as I intend to capture most of the enemy cavalry before, hopefully at least, before they strike my infantry. Kalmucks not doing too well, but neither is the enemy artillery. Okay, so one of the units is retreating after having made its charge all the way up to the cavalry. They didn't actually lose that many men. And then again, they didn't actually completely destroy this artillery piece right here. The Kalmucks were sent off. I do believe they've only got 2 artillery pieces left, which seem to have gathered speed throughout the Russian army. They're sending Cossack units to meet our heavy cavalry on the flank. I think we've already... the Dragoons have already met a unit of Hussars. I'm gonna have them charge out, get the enemy. Looks like they're firing. One problem with the Dragoons is, yep, just as they did there, they just shot a load of our own men. Which is why you should always tell them not to fire at will. Could have cost it, probably could cost the battle on that side. Kalmucks continuing through our line. Our heavy cavalry units have dispelled one of the Cossack units. Now it's going to continue on into this Dragoon. Same with this one, but it's actually going to go for the small regiments of foot over there. And what I think we'll do is we'll have the Grenadiers actually go out to a forward position along this defensive kind of ridge, but also we've got the wall to protect them. Look like cannon shots coming in. We've got so many troops right over here. Oh, the enemy Dragoons actually dismounted in the face of our heavy cavalry charge. Definitely gonna have this one come in and charge the Cossack regiment before they are able to fire. And they kind of managed to split up the side there. Grenadiers are coming in, and the rest of the Russian army is going toe-to-toe with the Fusiliers, which are so keen on defeating the Russians. They're jumping up out of the trenches to fight them even before. Right, the heavy cavalry is probably not going to do too well in a long drawn out fight, but that's why we brought the Grenadiers. Now we're gonna see if we can manage to drag our heavy cavalry out of there. And as we do that, I'm gonna order my Grenadiers to open fire on the now kind of confused lines of Russian troops. The Dragoons managed to charge us over on the left, and then we've got their guard cavalry charging in. Let's see if we can actually station our cavalry down there. And where's the other unit? Still stuck there. We don't want it in the line of fire. So I want them to retreat. So far no one's really reached... Yeah. No one's as of yet reached the Fusilier line and contacted them in melee, which is good, which means that the Fusilier line is able to lay down a good amount of fire upon the enemy. They've dismounted yet again over here. We're tired though, so I'm not gonna call them into a charge. We're gonna try to recuperate a little bit. And then I hope that we can send off the enemy cavalry pretty soon so we can get those grenadiers start shooting at the enemy. And send these regiments away. This one should be able to fire if it actually just got his shit together. And these two regiments should start to fire as well. This one, of course, still fighting. Regiment of Horse, but they just won. So they should also start to fire, especially towards that Dragoon regiment. Let's see, they're still tired. And my cavalry units, my Dragoons, I'm gonna set them up here. We can have a slow trot where they ride towards the enemy and shoot them down. All across the line, the Fusiliers are holding up well, even though they're not even using the trenches that I've so nicely built for them. Can we get maybe... Can we fire a canister above the heads of the line? Possibly. And that way just put so much fire into that Cossack line. Can blow it to pieces. I'm gonna tell them to aim for the center. The Cossack line is actually moving. I think it's gonna move straight into us. There we go. Good canister towards the center of the enemy regiment. And it's breaking. Then we'll switch towards... Oh, they're all breaking now. Wonderful. Hold fire. Switch to shrapnel. Tired and eager. Most of the enemy units are retreating over here. I'm going to send this one in, finalize the defeat of that side. And then this one's going to go for the Cossacks over there. I believe these guys are now ready. So I'll have them slowly advance in line. Fire at will as they go. Still manage to shoot each other. It's not optimal. What you will do is you will ride quickly then to the side. You will march there. You will continue forward. That way we try to avoid the units shooting each other and then still manage to shoot each other. Wait, what? I hope that was the enemy actually shooting. I thought this regiment would shoot at this unit rather than shooting this one, but I guess looking at... Let's see if you can break down that square. They've charged over there. It almost seems as though the back of the unit is shooting the front of the unit. Because this... I don't know how this unit managed to get so trashed by the enemy. This one is performing pretty well though, being able to fire into the flank. Oh shit. Charge them before they're able to reorganize. The square. Let's send all the cavalry over there, because I'm afraid the... Looks like my guns is targeting that square. It's kind of a lot more Cossacks there. Gonna retreat. Send this unit around. Oh, it might have been the Cossacks. They seem to have done quite a bit of damage on us. But otherwise, it looks like most of the enemy army is dispelled, except for the units then around this hill where we got 3 units. So small unit of Cossacks. It seems mostly Cossacks, then horse or mounted Cossacks, and then 1 unit of foot guards. I will order all our artillery pieces to concentrate fire on that guard unit, and in so doing, hopefully destroy the spirit of the remaining Russian forces. Quite a few shots coming in from over here, but it's so thick forest that most of it seems to be soaked up. And I don't really have cavalry to send out because I've wasted it all. And now they're hiding on the other side of the hill. Come on, get me some good shots on this regiment. Running up alongside. We've got 1 shrapnel shot that came in. Took out a few of them right here. I'm not entirely sure where they're going. I'm not entirely sure what this unit is doing. It's not a great advance towards that area. Gonna send 3 regiments forward. See if that's enough. They're moving like a perfect way almost, before at least, to be targeted by the shrapnel. Just run through the line like that. And we've got 3 units of Fusiliers. Should slowly make their way into a position where they can target the Cossacks. Will keep this unit of dragoons close by, just in case, and they're shattered before the our oncoming army. I guess they just hear the footsteps of about 1,000 men coming against them, and that was enough to send them away. Let's not linger and jump onto the next battle, shall we? And here we have the statistics of the battle. Most of the enemy army was routed, only 300 men remain. We lost 1,500. Highest killers are Fusiliers. Then we got Grenadiers and 12-pounder foot artillery. Highest losses, 131 men goes to Grenadier Guards. Is that my It is different in between the Grenadiers and the Grenadier Guards. I'm not entirely sure how the Grenadier Guards managed to lose that many, because they weren't even on the front line. I can see that 1 unit right there, having lost quite a few men. Surprised that the Kalmuks are not the highest. Where are the... They lost half the unit. They only killed 31 men, but then again they were suicided against... they did a suicide charge against the enemy. Right, so we won that battle. Now we win this one. And then this will be the only remaining threat really within the Moscow region. And also with that, our armies can move towards the far reaches, the far edges of the Russian Empire. So let's go ahead and take out this one, which actually carries a proper general. A lot of cavalry, as per usual, for the Russian armies. Not much to say. Let's just jump into it and destroy them. So we start at the bottom of a slope kind of down in a valley while the enemy holds the high ground and the village. So I intend to move up as quickly as possible. I have assembled all the cavalry right here. Notice that it's all light cavalry. It's lancers and hussars. Then we got a line of line infantry going through right here. We've got the second line going through here. And here's the line of grenadiers, normal grenadiers. The ones that throw grenades. Going all through. And then we have the foot guards in the back. And then cavalry, cannons drawn out across here. Most of which is the normal 24 pounders stationed here in front. And then one of the really big howitzers back here, the 32 pounder. With that said, let's go ahead and start. Right, interestingly, the enemy is kind of deployed in 3 columns. It's a bit unusual, I guess. I'm gonna start by moving the line infantry up, kind of to the bottom of that ridge. And then I want these infantry units to move up as well, kind of take on an angle through here, reaching up all the way to this hill, anchoring there. Right, just as I thought. The enemy is sending forwards their cavalry, so I'm gonna send forward all my cavalry. Hopefully they'll just run into trouble. Okay, they're going full speed ahead all across the line. Thing is, a lot of there is like medium to heavy cavalry regiments. So our cavalry can't really take them on 1-to-1, but I guess if I just pile on enough, which is what I'm doing right now, we might be successful, or at least hold them off from the lines. I'll order the cannons to open fire. Enemy cavalry are utterly slaughtered over here. Wonderful. Not going as well over here, where the cavalry column has hit us straight on. We do have the grenadiers to back up that part of the line, and they will close range. They will hold fire. The guard units might be need to move up as well. Form some squares and stuff over here. I'm gonna focus my light cavalry, taking on the Russians over here on the right side. Kind of disengage from this area. We'll try to break the enemy over here. There's a lot of enemy cavalry. We're about to sandwich one of their regular cavalry units over there. We need to aid the infantry over here by taking out that dragoon. Right, those are gone. Both will attack there. You will head around, and it's the it's a special regiment of foot, the Utrutsky regiment, fighting hussars and lancers. And then we also have a Streltsky unit, Strelts, fighting over there. The enemy infantry over here is just running into a massive amount of fire from our lines. Similarly, across here, this one's been rather devastated through this area. However, our regiments here are not actually faring too well. I'll tell them to retreat, and I'll order these 3 grenadier regiments to open fire to cover their retreat. Probably shoot down quite a lot of them as they retreat, but it will probably take with them, kind of soften up the cavalry units that are charging after. And then they'll have to, the enemy units will have to have fought through first the 2 line or the 3 line units, and then ride into fire, and then into the readied bayonets by the grenadiers. And that's not going to work out too well for the Russians. Let's see, cavalry. See if we can win this fight over here. And then we need to rearrange the lines. Come from uphill, fire down upon the enemy. We've got one over there. He's going to move to this side. And I think what we'll do, these guys have suffered quite a lot. 100 casualties each almost, except for the one in the middle, which hasn't actually suffered that much. Let's see if we can pull those back and kind of save those battalions a bit. Gonna have the foot guards move through. Gonna take their position. And then also have the grenadiers step forward. But right now we're doing pretty well against the ones we're fighting. So I don't want to move back too early. I think that's fine. Now you can move back. We'll order all the grenadiers at this point to fire at will. And with the extra cavalry, we were able to send off most of those. Shit. Maybe tell the cannons not to fire shrapnel anymore as they're bouncing into our own men mostly. Let's see, I think if I push the cavalry just through everything here, they might very well rout, and if I rearrange these, they will shoot down the remnants of the enemy units over there. And the cavalry will just sweep through. The cavalry has fought hard in the beginning of the battle, and now they're just sweeping away through what's left of the Russian front line. And as the cavalry units sweep through the lines rather quickly, it all falls apart for the Russians. I think they did have a chance in the beginning though, with those columns of cavalry. They could have just burst through our lines at multiple points, but of course the AI wasn't clever enough to do that. Or they could have concentrated their cavalry, because it was heavier cavalry than what we have. I'm gonna tell the cavalry to move off. And we're gonna order the cannons instead to focus in on that one last enemy battery. We're gonna have this regiment otherwise move in and shoot it down. And that will be the end of it. And this battle took less than 10 minutes. And there they go. We destroyed a Russian army of what, 5,000 men? Within 8 minutes. They're all running away. And so the Russian region is clear, except for the one army down to the south, but that one shouldn't be a problem. So for next video, I think we'll might not jump ahead, because the Austrians' theater war is pretty close. But we'll be able to march through and get those other Russian territories. And I mean, I believe that a lot... I mean, Austria is probably going to collapse within a turn or two. Anyways, let's go ahead and end turn and head back to the campaign map. And here we have the statistics of that battle. We deployed 8,500 men against the enemy's 5,000. We lost 1,600 men. The enemy lost 4,700. Around 400 of the enemy remain, while we still have almost 7,000 men. Highest killer go to a line infantry unit that managed to kill 400 enemies while losing 90 of their own. Actually kind of surpassed by this one in terms of kill to death ratio, where this one only lost 21 men while able to take out 383. This one, however, gained the most chevrons. So I wonder if they maybe get XP in depending on what kind of unit they destroy, or maybe it's how many troops that are left in the end that they get to share out of that experience pool, so you actually get more, or seemingly get more post-battle experience, just because less men are there to share from the gains. But there, that was, I believe, the first battle of that army. They weren't battle tested as they had missed their opportunity to fight the enemy over at Crimea. So what we can see is this army is going there. The Fusilier army is marching over here. And the Kiev army is marching over here. And then this one is going to march over there. All are within their targets about 4 turns maximum until they reach the supposed regions they're supposed to take. I mean, you guys are not going to be able to get there in time. So I'm actually going to turn them around just to absolutely crush what's left of Austria. And there we have it for this video. So, as per I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!